Let the hate begin.
Welcome to the Man Cave.
Hey everyone, this is a video I've been looking forward to doing for a very long time, but it was really hard to put together, and that's because this is a subject that is near and dear to my heart. I know to a lot of other people's heart too, and that is the subject of the best video games ever. And this is my top 10 list. Now, a bunch of disclaimers before I start. One, this is my list, and I understand that my list will be vastly different than other people's lists. It'll be different than a lot of lists you see on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all that kind of stuff. These are the games that I personally have played. These are not games that I watch somebody on some sort of social media play. These are games that I have enjoyed, and given my advanced years and my long history of video game, it's going to be pretty broad. There's going to be games from a series that I picked that made me feel the best, that not necessarily is the best game of the series, technologically wise or anything. There's going to be games on here that you usually see. There's no Zeldas, no Marios, no Dark Souls. These are games that I've actually played and I personally enjoyed. So no further ado, I'm going to show this game's list in years, the years the game was released, as opposed to which one is best, because it's kind of hard to compare a first-person shooter to an open world or something like that. So these are the games that I enjoyed the most over my lifetime, and here we go. So coming in at 1993 is X-Wing. This is the original X-Wing game. There was X-Wing Alliance and X-Wing versus TIE Fighter and TIE Fighter. A lot of different games, but I like this one the best. And I actually played it, and when it came out, I just had goosebumps because the technology had finally reached a point where George Lucas's vision in Star Wars could be represented in a video game. There have been video games before this about Star Wars that just wasn't as good, but this was. And then looking back now, it was pretty primitive, but at that point, it was awesome. You play basically during the events or around the events of A New Hope, and you play as an X-Wing fighter getting ready for the assault on the Death Wing, the Death Star. And it was pretty good. I mean, it was an awesome game. It had X-Wings, TIE fighters, I-Wings, Star Destroyers. And then there was an expansion pack that had B-Wings. It was an awesome game. You could do this thing called the Wanton Weave, where you could, if someone was trying to shoot you with a missile, you could do this corkscrew maneuver that it made it almost impossible for them to track you. Freaking awesome games. I know better ones came out, but this one for me, I love this game. At 1990, Thief, The Dark Project. And man, I know you've all heard of The Dark Project, but if you ever get a chance to actually play it, this game is awesome. The term stealth hadn't even been invented yet. These games were first-person sneakers. In this game, you're basically Garrett, a thief in this kind of steampunk world in a city called The City. And, you're sneaking around stealing stuff. And this is one of those games, early concept of this that's become the stealth genre, where it's like the object's not to kill as many people as possible. The object is be not detected as much as possible. And some of the innovations that this game, the sound quality was incredible. As you walked on different surfaces, you walked on metal, sounded different than walking on carpet. And so, that went into your gameplay. And the slower you move, the slower you push the controller forward, the less noise you made. And you could crouch and all that kind of stuff. It also had this gem at the bottom where it will show you how visible you are. If the gem was completely dark, that means you were invisible. No one could see you. You're in the shadows. And if it was green, you're completely visible, and all the variations in between. You had a bow and arrow, you had a sword, and you could defend yourself as necessary. But mostly, if you get caught, you're dead because you just can't compete with all these soldiers coming to get you. Freaking awesome game. The beginning of what became stealth. And it was a game I played. I remember playing it, Take a Step Safe. I love this game. Next, at 1999, is another genre-changing game, and that was Independence Wars, called iWars in Europe. It is a first-person flight simulator. But unlike most flight simulators where you're flying like either an airplane or a spaceship like an X-wing fighter or something. You're fighting this huge multi-ton Corvette for the Earth Navy in deep space. And man, it was awesome. The story was cool enough as it is. You're fighting in this guerrilla warfare against the rebels, who are basically folks who are colonizers and living on space stations in the far-flung galaxy of humanity's expanse throughout the space. And these guys have revolted against Earth for various reasons. If you've seen The Expanse, the TV show is kind of similar to that, except much, much further. And humanity has been trying to fight these guys, and these colonists have responded by basically taking their own ships, their worker bee ships and everything, and turn them into a fighting force, as well as stealing Earth ships. And you got this huge ship, is not quite the size of the Enterprise or anything, but it's a big ship. And you control different positions on the bridge. There's the engineer who controls the functions of the ship, the pilot who obviously pilots, and a gunner who you can shoot from the pilot position, but from the gunner's position, you have more options. You can shoot backwards. You can select different missions. You can see different angles. It was awesome. And from the commander's point of view, you can make command decisions as to what resources go where, answer calls from your command structure. It was awesome. But more than that, it used Newtonian physics. And that means if you're going forward in a direction, you just can't turn left. You got to kind of have thrusters that pull you back, as well as thrusters to push you right. So you kind of, instead of making a turn like this, you make a turn like this. And the same thing with different directions. And you can fly backwards just as fast as you're going forward, sideways. I mean, you can make this thing work any way you want to. And that was half the fun. Just got gliding around and corkscrewing around the galaxy. It had pretty good graphics for the time. Freaking loved that game. Also in 1999 is a game that it was hard for me to decide which game from this era to put, but Unreal Tournament was awesome. It was a Doom killer. And if you remember Doom was like not the first, but the first person shooter that really got it right. You can look around, you can jump. You're basically in this tournament. Think of it as really, really extreme MMA fighting where you got guns. And basically you start off with a pistol, and you're in these different types of maps with different characteristics and things. And you had to find better weapons. So there was a gun that shot pellets out, a gun that shot out this laser beam, looked like something from Ghostbusters, that just slowly drained your energy. There were rockets, and the famous rocket jump, and there was a machine gun, a multi-barrel gun that spun. I mean, everyone had their favorite gun, different types of explosions, different power-ups that made you invincible, made you invisible, made you more powerful. There was even a miniature nuke that you found. You could shoot this thing and kill like the entire opposite team. You could play solo, you could play teams, you could play against bots. It was an awesome game. After that, this game here, now I gotta kind of explain this, because this game is a series that everybody loves. And I don't think you could pick any game in this series, say it's the best, and be wrong. There's something to love about every single game. But for me, Grand Theft Auto 3 just took me to a different place. A lot of it is because the reason why I picked most of the games on this list is where you were at the time, where gaming was at the time. Grand Theft Auto 3 was just mind-boggling. It was this third-person shooter. You're this guy in this city, and you just going around meeting people and having these missions. And as you progress, you unlock more things. The protagonist didn't talk, which added to a certain level of mystery to the game. But the reason why I beat out games like 4 and San Andreas, it's just that, just when it came out, the feeling. I remember driving around just having fun doing that, because it was just so different than anything else. And, purposely getting the cops after you so you can see how long you survived. It was a great game. And, of course, it led to the series, and we're still waiting for 6 to come out. Maybe one day, not before this video comes out, but maybe one day we'll see it and it'll be great. Now, this next game, Grand Theft Auto came out in 2001. This next game came out in 2003, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Americans, people in the Western Hemisphere, don't know about this game, because I actually had to go out and buy a Japanese PlayStation just to play this game, and I have never regretted that decision. And that game is 2003 Macross. Yeah. The Super Dimension Fortress, based upon the anime of the same name. And for most people, the battle rages around which was better, Macross or Robotech. Robotech is a Frankenstein monster, 3 animes, and the first one was Macross. And whatever you think about that, we can go on and on about that. But this is the original Japanese game. And before this came out, the people at Robotech had made a game called Battlecry. It's the same era, same equipment and everything, but Macross is just light years better. It's made by people who already made flight simulators, and it's just awesome. If you like Macross, even if you like Robotech, you can't beat a system that uses the same sound effects, the same opening theme. It just sounded and looked really good. It captured the spirit of the game. It was a third person flight simulator. You can make the changes to the various modes of the Valkyrie, a fighter, a robot, this kind of girl walk in between. It was awesome. So if you like that kind of stuff, it was just, I mean, like I said, I bought a Japanese PlayStation just to play it. I love Macross. In 2005, Splinter Cell series introduced Chaos Theory. And I picked Chaos Theory because, one, there's very few Splinter Cell games that I do not like. Heck, I like Conviction. But this one is just like that sweet spot. It's just like everything was humming. It's just right. There's some personal stakes for our hero, Sam Fisher, who is this one-man infiltration unit. He's got a couple of people back at headquarters that support him. He is a Splinter Cell, and my man Michael Ironside is in it. And Michael Ironside, if you don't know, is a freaking sci-fi legend. He provides the voice of Sam Fisher up until recently.
I am Sam Fisher.
You gotta love this guy. But movements, the lights, it kind of came out around the same time as Thief and Metal Gear Solid, and it's got the same kind of attention to sound as well as lighting, and your objective is to move silently and, again, not kill anybody, or if you have to, you can actually move the body so that you can be undetected. And the more undetected you are, the higher your score. It is an awesome game. Like I said, I love the whole series. It's probably one of my favorites video game series, right up there with Grand Theft Auto. I love Splinter Cell, and this one was just like I said, everything was humming, all things were working together. Great scene. Next is Devil May Cry 3 from 2005. Now, if you're familiar with the Devil May Cry series, especially in the beginning, Devil May Cry, the first one, was awesome. This was like, what? I hadn't seen anything. It is weird in that the camera is in a fixed position, and as you move, the camera moves to a different position, another fixed position. So, you're seeing the character from different angles depending on where you are. And that just created the mood. And the weapons he used is just incredible. Number 2, really sucked. Capcom people got their act together. Number 3, the weapons are insane. I mean, it's like you fight with a guitar at one point. It's just really cool game. You have a series of magical weapons plus your 2 guns that have unlimited firepower. So one of the things about the Devil May Cry series is that it is what is it? How many hits you get to different rankings. So if you can get a lot of hits without being hit yourself to higher ranking, and your guns help you keep that going on because they don't raise the meter that high, but it keeps the hits going. It's freaking awesome. So that was back in 2005, and they've made some other games since then. I think I played 4, and it's like, it's okay. But I really think that Devil May Cry 3 was the high water mark. And I can't see my notes here. The next game is everyone's favorite. I mean, this game is said a lot, but it truly revolutionized the first-person shooter, and that is 2007's Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the first one. Man, let me tell you, when I got this, I got it for Christmas, and I got this game, and that was my Christmas. I mean, from the opening cutscene, when you're a guy getting dragged off to be murdered, it's just like you're captured. I just thought they did so much well with the genre they were in. Before that, everything was World War II and maybe a few Vietnam games, and they just changed the whole game with this modern warfare with you're fighting in this kind of endless war, Middle Eastern conflict that the United States was known for at that time, and in some cases still to today. And it was very relevant. The weapons were really good. I didn't play much of the multiplayer. I'm not a multiplayer kind of guy, But the first person player, I mean, the scene of the nuclear bomb actually going off caught everybody off guard. It was just moments like that that lifted up modern warfare to a high water mark that was really hard for other people to match, even modern warfare. But this right here, this started it all. And talking about series, I mean, I got a lot of series in this game, but my last one on this list of the top 10 video games for me, for all time, is it's a series everybody loves. And man, again, this is one of those, whichever one you pick, you can be like, yeah, I can see that. But for man, Batman Arkham City 2011 was it. You know what? I gotta tell a story. So when Arkham Asylum came out, I was working with this guy and he knew I liked video games. He liked video games. He came to work one day and he says, you gotta play Arkham Asylum. And I had heard about it, but at this point, there had been a lot of Batman video games and I was just kind of like, but he's like, no, 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 man, you gotta play. I said, okay, I'll get around to it. Next day he came to work. He says, here. He gives me his PlayStation 2 disc. He says, or was it 3? Whatever it was. He says, here, play this today. You keep it as long as you want to be played again. It's like, all right, cool. Man, that game was awesome. And I loved Arkham Asylum. But when Arkham City came out, it was everything that Arkham Asylum promised times 10. I mean, this is a Batman comic come to life. And this was Batman in Gotham, which was the step above Arkham's Asylum that it had. I mean, this was perfect for Batman. He went to a lot of places. There were a lot of Easter eggs and that kind of stuff. The combat was really good. The only thing I didn't like is that you had to go back and get more devices to get places. I didn't like that so much. But man, the DLCs were awesome. Man, I just love Arkham City. Now, the other ones were all good. There's none of them, even the one I like the least, which is quite frankly Arkham Knight. That's a great game. I mean, I have no complaints about any of this game, but I really felt that Arkham City was just the interaction with the Joker and then the surprise twist at the end. Tyler Al Ghul is in it. Just everything. This was a perfect story for Batman. The controls are good. The visuals are good. I could just wander around Arkham City and let me acknowledge something by saying there are hundreds and I'm missing some. I know I missed like Mega Man. I missed Pitfall. I missed Lara Croft. I missed Spider-Man. There's a lot of games that it's like that I personally played that have been great. I miss Black. Man, I thought Black was a cool game. The first Killzone was awesome. But, it didn't just hit that spot for me. There are a lot of games that I played. One of the first games I played was Pong. That's how old I am. And then right after that, my dad and I used to play this game called Combat. It was these two tanks trying to kill each other. But I have to give an honorable mention for a game because for me, this is really the first game that really just made me say, this is awesome. I love this whole video game thing. And that is 1980s Star Raiders. I thought Star Raiders was the bee's knees. I used to do this thing where I recreated the scene from Star Trek The Motion Picture using Star Raiders. I mean, I just love this game. It was really compact. It's not very long. I think I went through it the quickest in like 3 minutes, but on the easiest level, going fast and everything. But it was just really simple, straightforward concept. They tried to recreate it a lot of times and just missed the magic. I think what it was, just this kind of simulator of you flying and saving these star bases for points and as well as, just, for your heroic mission or whatever. You got 2 views, man. You could see from the back. I mean, at that point, that was incredible. So yeah, that was the game I did honorable mention because that will always be in my heart as like my first real love of video games. But as always, what do you guys think? I mean, I know everyone's got a different list, different kind of thing. Why didn't you say Zelda? Why didn't you say, Rise of the Colossus? Well, I didn't play those games. And, some of them just didn't touch me. These are the games that I really like, that I really love. I'd love to hear what you thought. I'd love to hear what your video games favorites are. So as usual, comment below.